Sometimes you can't beat the simplicity of riding along on a bike with no gears, maybe to commute to work on, pop to the shops, or even a little poodle around with your mates. In this series of videos, we're going to convert a commonly available old road bike into a fashionable fixie. Oh, and test it along the way. For this video, I decided to head over to the hotbed of second-hand bikes. No, not Gumtree, not Craigslist, but eBay. Although I must say, actually, that Facebook Marketplace is rapidly becoming a favourite of mine. And for just 35 British pounds, I bought this Peugeot Premier. Now, it was listed as, well, spares, repairs, suitable for parts, because as you can see, it's an unfinished project bike. But, well, it's going to be absolutely perfect for what I want to use it for. But what should you be doing then when it comes to making your decision for your road bike to fixie conversion? First up, you need to think about the budget and also the size of the bike. Two things which should be nice and simple for you to be able to work out. And then it's just a matter of time of scrolling through page after page before you find something which is suitable. In my case, I really wanted something that looked the part because so many of these road bike to fixie conversions use a really iconic frame design. There's nothing more iconic, I reckon, than one of those Peugeots. Once you go to have a look at that bike, make sure the frame is all okay. That's the most important thing. Anything else can be replaced relatively low cost. So have a good look over the frame tubes, make sure they're not bent or twisted. A little dent here or there is okay, but anything too big, well, that could well affect the structure of the frame. Obviously, if you are thinking about using or reusing any of the components fitted, make sure they're in a good condition too. So handlebars, for instance, that's quite a common thing to get bent or slightly twisted if a bike's been dropped, and also a buckled wheel. And lastly, what about those pedal threads? That's something which no one ever checks when they go to buy a second-hand bike. Although in my case, well, it doesn't even have a right-hand crank, so don't worry, I'm actually going to be replacing the chain set totally. Don't forget though, if you've got a double chain set, for instance, on a bike, you can easily convert that into a single ring setup. Of course, you are going to need to spend a little bit more time researching chain lines and things like that. Now, this video series is all about doing it without having to spend a fortune. Because loads of fixie aficionados out there, they want to have NJS stamped track components on their bike. But we're not going to be putting these parts through the strains and stresses of a caring rider. So, all I'm going to say is, when you are looking for one of these frames, make sure that it's got horizontal dropouts at the rear. What does this mean? Well, it means that it's not a vertical style which you find on modern day bikes. Instead, you've got a little bit more room, I guess, to play with the rear axle. So when it comes to tensioning up the chain, you can get it absolutely spot on. And you can do away with an unsightly chain tensioner or anything like that, keeping it looking really nice and minimalistic. In my case, it's time to actually strip this bike of all of the components and give it a good old clean, ready for the fresh bits and pieces to be fitted. As ever, I've been hunting around for a bargain here or there, but some things, remember, are not worth scrimping on. They've got to be suitable for the job. Let's take it apart. There we go, the Peugeot Premier stripped down to the frame and forks. I've got to say, there was a slight heart-in-mouth moment for a minute. I thought I was going to have to put the bike into a vice to try and free up the bottom bracket. But no, I managed to get out the fixed cup, and then I could get slowly into the actual adjustable cup, which took a 24mm hex socket. Get that on there, not a problem at all. I'm not going to focus too much on the war wounds of the bike because there's no major dents in it whatsoever, and part of the real love about transforming an old road bike into a fixed wheel bike is that exactly the history behind it. But stay tuned. Well, in fact, in the next episode, I'll be showing you exactly what I'm going to be fitting onto this bike and why, because it's not quite as straightforward as you may think. So there we are. Remember to like and share this video with your friends. Give it a big old thumbs up, and why not check out the GCN shop too at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. And now for 2 more great videos. The first one, Oliver Bridgewood was a detective, just like Sherlock Holmes. He's going to give you his tips on how to buy a second-hand bike. Click just down here. And for another maintenance video, click just down here.